I'm going to show you guys how to set up the holster insert blocks for the double alpha flex holster. We're going to start with removing the insert. So you need to remove the main part of your holster here. Loosen that screw. This will pop off. So when you buy the holster, this part will come empty, and it will come with whatever insert you choose, type A or type B. This one currently has a type B in it set up for my TSO. So we're going to just swap this insert out and set it up for my DWX with a type A insert. So inside here you'll get your shims and your insert block. So to set this up, you're going to want to start with loosening these two screws for your pads. Just got to loosen them a little bit. So for our DWX, basically this pad goes against the front of your trigger guard and this pad goes against the back, so we can actuate it in and out. So we want it to be in, and you want to look at this side. So you want to set it up so that it's pretty straight, because if you run it too far back it's going to tip. So you got to find that spot where it sits nicely against the frame right here. And once you have that spot, you're going to move this one forward until it comes up against your trigger guard. That's nice and flat on the bottom there. Just push that in a little bit. Tighten that one down. So now that one's tight. Then we'll take this one, and you can use whatever side you want. It rotates 360 degrees. So I can use that flat side, or I can use this rounded side. I'm going to try the flat side. So that's in there. Tighten that one down. And just kind of give it a little test function. So that's how it works, is when this goes back, so this is behind the trigger guard, and when you draw the gun it slides out of the way. So then it locks it. When you push it in, it pushes forward and it comes out and grabs your trigger. So now that this is set up, so like I said, this will come empty, but I'll show you how to take it apart here. These two screws are the main body of your insert. You can take those out first or second. These two have to come out first for it to come out. So you can see our different screw types here. These are screws into plastic, and these are fine screws. So this is the insert, the spacer that you need. Just gotta kind of get that out. So this one's set up for my TSO, so I'll just leave this as is and keep it to the side so I can change these out whenever I want. And you can see the different adjustments for the different triggers. This is a type B insert, this is a type A insert. You can see the extra height here versus this one. So you open up your bag, which is going to be full of shims. And then you have, comes with a set of screws, but I'll just reuse these ones, keep these as spares. And these are my spacers. So now that we have this stripped, this is set to our gun. We have all of our spacers out and shims. We can start putting this in here. They fit in nice and fit very snugly. Sometimes you got to wiggle them to get in and out. Start these screws first. It's not a bad idea to Loctite these. I've never had them come loose on me, but if you wanted to be sure, you could throw just a tiny bit of blue Loctite on them. So now we need to figure out our spacing, because we'll have the gun will go in and we need to fill that gap. So we'll roughly, they're marked, so this is 7.5. That one's a little small. 8.75. We'll see how this one fits. We may have to go up to the 10. So that's just a little bit loose. I think we're going to need to shim this one out, but we'll try the 10 just to be sure. Oh. It fits with the 10. So the biggest spacer, and there's not a lot of extra room. It is too loose. So we'll throw in a couple shims. I'll start with 3. They only go on one way. They have this little edge here, and that matches with this edge on here. So we'll start off loose fit. This will get tighter when you put the screws in, so it'll pull it this way. So it will be generally a little tight when you put your gun in with just the shims with no screws. So when you tighten that down, it will generally get a little wider. So 3 was not enough. We'll just add 3 more. And you can see the thickness that that's adding with 3 shims, or 6 shims total. So now that's too tight. Can barely get it on the trigger guard. So we'll take 1 off. So that's pretty snug. You could definitely leave it that snug and not have any issues. If you like a little more retention. On my other one, it's pretty loose. So I'm going to start this one in because I suspect that it will get a little bit looser once it's actually screwed in. And these screws, you're just threading them into the plastic. So just be careful not to over tighten them, or they will strip. So we'll just get those good and snug, not too tight so it doesn't strip. And I think that's pretty perfect. There's hardly any resistance there, but not enough that the gun's not wiggling, moving. You can lock it. It does have a little bit of forward and back movement, but that's just moving against the lock. So I'd say that's pretty good. I could probably put that 1 more in. I'll actually try it. Screw it down with 1 more in it. So that's 6 shims tighten down. Just a little too snug. So we'll go with 5, which is on the loose side where I like it for this type of holster, because it's not like your gun's gonna fall out. You know, you're pretty much standing still. So there we have 5 again. Just double check. And then that is a really good retention for a race holster. Basically 0, but you know, not really a safety concern, because if your holster's unlocked, you're on the line about to draw, not usually moving with your gun in your holster unlocked. So having it pretty loose is acceptable, and that's how I've run my CZ at that same level of retention, and I've never had it fall out, because with how much travel is in here, you know, even unlocked, I mean, it is holding the gun upside down. You know, if I shake it a little bit, it'll come out, but the fact that it can hold the gun upside down, you know, any way you move, it's not going to come out. So then we just take this and slide it back on our hanger for our flex holster. And tighten it back down. That's upside down. Silly me. There we go. Then we just tighten that screw and you're good to go.